Hey friends, I'm so glad to be here with you tonight for an East Texas Kitchen on East Texas Now live special. We just love doing these because we kind of feel like we can become a little bit a part of your life at home, whatever you may be dealing with, whether it's a holiday or like right now, it's back to school time. So, to help you ease back into that routine of homework and ball practice, band practice, whatever it may be, music practices and that sort of thing. I have some ideas that just might get you kind of started. And then once you get going with these recipes, I hope that you'll check out the East Texas Kitchen app, where they all are right now, and look at other ideas that are quick and easy, because that's kind of what I try to focus on for you. Because when I see y'all out in public, that's what you tell me. You love the quick and easy recipes that I share that are still made with good ingredients. So let's get started on the first one. Now, this is a recipe that I invented for my boys when they were in school. So it's been a long time, probably 15 or 18 years ago, that I came up with this one. And these are my peanut butter blondie bars. They're so good, I can't even tell you. And they're nice and sturdy when they're baked up, so you can easily pack them in a lunch. And that's why I thought this would be a great one for this show. If your child can't have peanut butter, if there's another kind of nut butter that you can sub, you can do that. So let me tell you what I have so far. I've got my ingredients all laid out here, and that includes some melted butter. And so I'm going to put this melted butter into my mixer bowl. And then I'm going to add to it some brown sugar. So this is 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. I'm going to just slip that right in there. And we're going to get it started mixing. So you want to mix this just until it is nice and creamy. So we'll let that start. It's so easy, y'all. This recipe is really easy. So I loved making it. I made it many times when my children were small, and I have shared this recipe with so many friends, and they love it. So it's a good one. So while I'm getting my wet ingredients ready, the dry ingredients are here. This is 1 cup of plain flour. This is a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we'll use a full teaspoon of baking powder. This is baking powder, not baking soda. So measure that off, nice and flat, and then we'll just add that right there. All right. Put that down. Now I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, and I'll add 2 eggs. I've got 2 eggs here. I'm going to pour them into the bowl. Okay. I know that the camera overhead probably can't quite see into this bowl, but it is getting nice and whipped and turning light in color, which is what you're looking for. I'm going to take, while that continues whipping, I'll put our baking powder and our flour and our salt in this little bowl here, because you want to whisk that up together. You want to incorporate the baking powder and the salt into your plain flour. So there you go. Mix that up. Got one of my little antique bowls. Y'all know how I am. I am a bowl collector. And even though somebody probably put that one through the dishwasher, Hannah, I know that you love these old bowls too. I still love this bowl regardless, because it's just so cute, and I love the sides. This is an old Fire King splash proof bowl. I love him. So I'm going to put him there. And now, let's turn this down. I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl. I see I have some darker peanut butter up on the side, or excuse me, the sugar on the side, so I want to get it down into our peanut butter mixture. So creamy smooth, as you can see. There you go. And then, let me put him back down. And then I'll turn it back on. We're going to add peanut butter now. So I have got 1/2 cup of, this is crunchy peanut butter. You can use smooth if that's what you have. It doesn't matter, but just 1/2 cup is all you need. This is not a huge batch of bars, right? This is going to make a 9 by 9 or 7 by 13 pan of peanut butter bars for you. You can well, you couldn't quite double it to make a 9 by 13 pan, so you'd have to do some mathematics. I'll let you do that at home. Or you could just make 2 9 by 9 pans. Double the recipe that way, it'd be much easier. Let's set my peanut butter aside. And then once that gets incorporated nicely, we'll start adding the flour. So here we go. It's really just, you know, it's just a little bit more than a cup of flour, so it's easy to get that right into our mixture. There we go. A little bit more at the bottom. And once that comes together, we're going to add, this is the special ingredient. These are Reese's peanut butter chips. They're just like chocolate chips, but they're peanut butter flavored. So you get them in the same aisle that you get your chocolate chips for cookies and stuff. So just add those right here at the end. Let them kind of get incorporated into your dough. Perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of my homemade vanilla. Let me turn it down, so I don't want this vanilla to splash all over the place. So I'm going to turn that off while I pour it. So we're going to use 1 tablespoon and then plus a teaspoon. Just gives it a nice rich flavor. You know, it's time to start making your homemade vanilla extract, ladies and gentlemen, because if you start it in August, by November it'll be ready for holiday baking. So I have videos online that show you how to make your own homemade vanilla extract. This one was made with some inexpensive vodka. I have one at home that I'm about to make, and it's going to be with some bourbon and you know, a little bit of a richer flavor profile with the bourbon than with the vanilla, because the vodka just doesn't have that much flavor, just a little flavor. So anyway, time to get that started. So you can Google that, Mama Steph homemade vanilla, and it'll pop up for you. Okay, let me stir this vanilla in here, and then we're going to spread it into our pan. Just takes a second there. Ooh, that smells good. I can't even tell y'all how good that smells. Okay, so now let me get some things out of the way here so I can pull my pan over close. And then we will make our bars in this pan that I have here. Let me open this up. Scoot these out of the way. Okay. Now what we'll do, we'll take, this is let me show you, this is a 9 by 9 pan, baking dish, and I like to line this with foil, like that. This is a really nice little time saver for you. I know that if you've watched East Texas Kitchen before, you've probably seen me do this, but just line that with foil and then spray the foil with some baking spray, whether it's Pam or just whatever you have. Just don't use one that has an added flavoring. I know that some brands will add like garlic or whatever flavor to it. You want it to be plain. So this is just Baker's Joy. So put that in there, and then we will remove this beater. We'll set him over here out of the way. And then we'll take this off. And we're just going to put that dough right down into, oh my goodness, it smells good. This is the time when my children would try to get into the dough. Mom, let me lick the bowl, let me lick the spatula, because they just loved it. And of course I always had to tell them no, because it has raw eggs in it, but they always tried, right? They always tried, because it just smells amazing even before it bakes. Now, while you're making this, you're just going to let your oven preheat to 350 degrees. And then when it's at 350, you're ready to go. These just have to bake for about 30 minutes. Very simple. Just spread those out corner to corner. It's a nice thick batter, as you can see. So we're going to have to give it a little bit of encouragement to get into the corners, like that. Spread it out, and then just smooth the top, like that. If you wanted to, at this point, you could take some Reese's Pieces or some M&Ms or whatever you might have, or some chocolate chips, and sprinkle them over the top and then press them down into it and let them bake on top, so you'd have a little decorated top. But you don't have to do that for this to be amazingly good. I promise you that. So then, once this is baked, and I've already pre-baked one, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm gonna take the lid off. This is one of those 1990s Corningware dishes I have had since I got married in 1990. So now, here's the easiest part. You just lift that foil right up out of the glass dish. See how easy that is? So that's one of the reasons that foil comes in so handy. And then you just set that aside. If you have sprayed your foil, it should just peel off of these bars pretty easily. Now mine has been sitting here for a while, it's completely cooled. So it's a little more stuck than it would be when it's warmer, but that's okay, it just peels right off. See how easy? Okay, and we'll just get rid of that. Now, what you want to do is take a nice long knife like this, or a bread knife, whatever you might have, and just cut this into squares. And you can hear, if you listen carefully, that little chunk when you cut through it. That's what I mean by these bars are sturdy. They are solid, and they won't crumble and fall apart in a lunch bag or lunch box like a cookie does. So that's why I love packing these to go, whether it's to go to school or to go on a picnic or whatever I'm packing for. I like to have these handy. So there we go. And I just can't wait for some of you to try this at home and then let me know what you think of them. I just think they're fantastic. And so there's the top, what it looks like. They're basically just like a brownie, but they're made with peanut butter instead of chocolate. And I am a peanut butter-aholic. I love peanut butter. So that's why I've always enjoyed this recipe so much. And my children took after me in that. They love it too. They love peanut butter. So I had a lot of requests for these. Now, you can also search on the East Texas Kitchen app for other bars and things that I've made, and cookies, other ideas that would also work for back to school. And because, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. And if you don't find it on the app, it may be a pre-app recipe from 12 years ago or something, and it'll still probably come up when you do a search online on your desktop or whatever. So you can always try that too. But for now, look how many nice peanut butter bars we have. Isn't that amazing? How easy that is and how delicious. You'll find out when you make them, and Hannah will find out after the show when I take her a plate of food to eat. So for now, what I'll do is set this all aside, and I'm going to bring out another quick recipe that's also a treat, but it's a frozen treat that would be great after school when you come back and you're hot and sweaty, or after practice. So stick around for that one, and it'll just be a few minutes and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hannah, back to you for a few moments.
Since 1900, our customers have relied on and placed their trust in First National Bank of East Texas. Today, we remain committed to earning that trust and serving the needs of families and businesses throughout East Texas. Because time never stands still, you can depend on us to meet the changing needs of future generations for the next 125 years. You can bank on that. First National Bank of East Texas.
Life consists of moments. This is your moment. This is your time. And it is up to you to decide, how do I spend this moment? How will I remember this moment? It's not even written yet.
Your future is wide open at Kilgore College. With small class sizes and tuition that is a fraction of a four-year university, we get you moving toward your goals fast. Whether you need hands-on training, hybrid online or in-person classes, and transfer partnerships to finish your bachelor's degree, we have you covered. Plus, with over 66 areas of study available and over 22 certificates, you get the flexibility you need to succeed. Make the smart choice. Start here.
Hi, time for a quick survey?
He cried.
I was on the edge of my seat.
Wow, sounds like a 5-star review.
That was a 10-star masterpiece.
Yeah, it's got to have twice as many.
When you experience truly exceptional quality, 5 stars just isn't enough. Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital is the only hospital in East Texas to earn double 5-star ratings from Medicare for both overall quality and patient satisfaction. Contact physician-owned Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital now.
When I was a child, one of my favorite Bible stories was David and Goliath. Sadly, if you or your loved ones are involved in an accident, the insurance company and the lawyers who represent them are Goliath. For over 25 years, myself and my partner Marty Young have stood between you and Goliath. The insurance companies know the difference between Godarzi and Young and all others. We hope you never need us, but if you do, we're here to help.
I am so glad that you're still here. Now, I want to show you, as I said before the break, a nice frozen treat. And listen, this is Texas. And so in the South down here, we are going to have heat for a long time after school starts. So we have kids who are going to come home hot and sweaty. You're going to come home from work possibly hot and sweaty. So it's nice to have a little frozen treat ready to go to cool you off after a busy day of whatever you were up to. So this one is kind of fun. It's using some bananas, peanut butter, chocolate, and peanuts. And again, you can switch out the peanut butter for a different butter if that's what your child is able to use or what you're able to use. So this one's kind of fun, and they might even like to help you a little bit with this recipe. What you need is 2 baking sheets. I have you can use 2 the same size or 1 larger and 1 just a bit smaller. You want to put the larger one down in front of you and line it with a piece of wax paper or parchment paper, or even foil would work, because this isn't going to be baked, this is going to be frozen, so it doesn't matter. Spread that out, and then we're going to peel 3 bananas. My bananas should be, unfortunately, they should be a little bit more ripe than this. This is really easier when you have fully ripe or even overripe bananas, but these are still a little green. That's totally okay, still usable. You just have to put a little bit more muscle into what I'm about to do with them. So let me get that peeled. Here we go. Put him right beside that one. And then 1 more. So this is nice because you're getting a little potassium into these kiddos, and when you sweat a lot, you lose potassium during the day, and that's why those muscle cramps can come sneak up on you. That's part of the reason. So potassium is good to have, plus bananas just taste amazing, don't they? So there we go. Now what you're going to do is put another sheet of wax paper on top of the bananas. Okay, and then you're going to take your smaller or equal-sized baking sheet and just smash. This is the part the kids like. Just smash the bananas, and you want to get them as flat as you can. This is why using a more ripe banana is easier, because listen, these green bananas are pretty firm, so you got to give it a little bit of elbow grease, as they say. But just press, 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 and let's see. No, I'm going to go a little bit thinner, so keep pressing. I need one of my big, strong sons here to help me press down, because I'm so short. Have a harder time getting it down. There we go. Okay, that's going to work. So there we are. So the next thing we're going to do to these bananas, we're going to leave them on this paper. We're going to take some creamy peanut butter or almond butter, whatever butter, and we're going to smooth some, and I mean a healthy some, right on top of the bananas, like that. Got to kind of do a little holding on, because they want to go with you when you're spreading. but it's just like you're icing a cake almost. You just want to get most of the banana covered with the peanut butter. So here we go. And at home, when I did this earlier in the week, I warmed my peanut butter up a little bit, and it helped it smooth a little easier. But I don't want to use the microwave right now, so I'm not gonna do that part. But we're almost there anyway, and that's okay. More peanut butter, more peanut butter. I'm all about a peanut butter recipe. Okay, now here's the part you need to pay attention to, because your timeline and mine are different. When you're at home, you're going to stop right here. You're going to cover this up again, and you're going to put it in your freezer, and you're going to let it freeze solid. You can do it overnight. You can do it, you know, when you leave in the morning, and then when you get back home after you pick up the kids or whatever you're doing, they'll be frozen. So we're going to just pretend that I have frozen these. And so I've got a nice hard frozen banana and peanut butter. Then what you're going to do is melt a cup of chocolate chips. Light chocolate, dark chocolate, medium chocolate, whatever you have on hand. A cup, and then you can melt it in the microwave in 30 seconds increments. Just stir it in between. And then once it's all melted, you can just drizzle it here. And then I'm going to smooth it. Ooh, y'all, this smells good. I mean, in case you hadn't wondered, like if I'm going to have chocolate candy, it's going to be Reese's. I'm just, you know, into the chocolate and peanut butter flavor profile. But you could do this with almond butter and white chocolate. You could do any kind of combination. You could get some butterscotch chips instead of chocolate. They have peanut butter chips like we did earlier with our bars recipe. So all kinds of options. You can change it up. This is just an easy little idea. And then you're going to top it, pardon me, with some peanuts while it's still melted. You don't want to let the chocolate get hard. So do this immediately. And then stick it back in the freezer. And that's all there is to that recipe. So you're making a chocolate bark. I'm going to set him over here for just for now. And then I'll show you. That's how it turned out. So we have a frozen banana bark that you can just take a plate and break up the pieces. Just like you do a chocolate bark, like at the holidays or whatever. Just break it into bits, or you can cut it if you want even pieces. And then you just dig in. You just let them enjoy the cold treat. And you know they're getting a little protein, they're getting some potassium, and they're getting something that is delicious too. So it's always nice, isn't it? You can't always eat candy. Sometimes you have to come up with some ideas for something different. And so there you go. Aren't they cute? That is so cold and refreshing, you guys, and I hope that somebody there will try it at home. Let me know what you think. And if you make any changes with your toppings, let me know about that too and how it turned out. And so that was super quick. My next recipe, is a dinner skillet recipe. It is so good, so easy to do, and it's another one you can kind of customize. So make sure you come back in just a few minutes and I'll have that ready to go so we can cook that together. Back to you for a few minutes, Hannah.
All right, this is it. I'm doing it tonight. I'm just going to walk right up to her and finally ask. Hey, I just wanted to say, I love the sound of that guitar. Where can I get one?
Munt Music.
Come visit us today and find the sound you love at Munt Music.
Picture your best life. Now picture your best ride. What do you see? Make it happen with Ultra. Easy application, no payments for 90 days, endless possibilities. Have you pictured your best life yet? How about your best ride? What did you see? Motorcycles, trucks, cars, whatever you're picturing, make it happen with Ultra. Apply today at driveultra.org.
What are your favorite East Texas spots that are key to a weekend well spent? From coffee shops to outdoor adventures, the hidden gems, and the mom and pop shops. Vote the best of the best for the 2026 Weekend Wonders at theeasttexasweekend.com.
What if you didn't just check the weather, but understood it? Why storms build, where fronts come from, the story behind it all.
Because weather's not just in your forecast, it's everywhere.
First Alert Weather Extra. It's just more.
Your future is wide open at Kilgore College. With small class sizes and tuition that is a fraction of a four-year university, we get you moving toward your goals fast. Whether you need hands-on training, hybrid online or in-person classes, and transfer partnerships to finish a bachelor's degree, we have you covered. Plus, with over 66 areas of study available and over 22 certificates, you get the flexibility you need to succeed. Make the smart choice. Start here.
That was fantastic.
Worth every penny.
Oh my!
I wish we could double it.
Wish you could just snap your fingers and double the good things in life? You get double the assurance for walk-in care at Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital Clinics. Part of the only hospital in East Texas to earn a double 5-star rating for overall quality and patient satisfaction. Don't settle for less than the best. Contact the 10-star care team at physician-owned Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine and Joint Hospital today.
Welcome back, everybody. So now on this last recipe for the show, I'm going to make a pasta skillet primavera. I'm going to use some ground beef, but you could use some ground turkey if that's what you prefer. Whichever one you have and want to use is great. So I've got one already cooked over here, but I'm not going to show you that yet. We're going to make this one together right here in this skillet. I'm going to move that chocolate out of the way so I don't accidentally get chocolate in our pasta. That would not be a good flavor profile, would it? So I'm going to put my, there we go, I'm going to put my burner on medium. And I've already cooked a pound of ground beef and I've drained the fat off of that so that we don't, you don't need all that fat. So get rid of that and then just make sure your ground beef is chopped up into nice, easy little pieces, not big chunky pieces. And then I'm going to salt that ground beef a little bit. We need to have some flavor. So just give it a nice, generous little shake there. You can always add some more if you don't get quite enough at the beginning, as I always say. It's easier to add more than if you need it, then you just, you can't take it out once it's in there. So once your beef is cooked completely through and nice and brown, then we're going to start building our pasta primavera. So first, I'm going to put these zucchinis. You could also use yellow squash here. I'm going to cut off the ends here. And I'm going to cut each one in half lengthwise and then just into crescents like this. So this time of year, so many people are giving away zucchini and yellow squash, or summer squash as some people call it. And so either one of those would work perfectly here. I'm going to put that right into the skillet. I love zucchini, don't you guys? It's just delicious. I'm going to do this other one now the same exact way. You don't have to peel it or anything. Some kids kind of are weird about wanting vegetables peeled, and if that's the way it is at your house, feel free to peel them. That doesn't change it much, honestly, so it's not anything to battle. You gotta pick your battles when you're a parent, right? Or a grandparent, or whoever you are doing the cooking for littles. You just gotta pick your battles. There we go. So I'm gonna just stir those in. And then I'm going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes with the juice. Just the whole can goes in there. Stir that in. You see how easy this is. It's kind of a nice way to get pasta into students' of all ages. A little bit of veggies in there, a little bit of beef with the fat drained off. So, you know, you do mostly that part and then a little pasta. Instead of a big giant pot of pasta and then just a few things added to it. That way they still enjoy the pasta, but they're getting vegetables, they're getting protein, and that's a good thing. Here we go. Now I'm going to take the can that those tomatoes came out of, a 15-ounce can, and I'm going to put beef broth into the can and just, that, you know, you just want to measure it out that way. You don't have to. It's just around 2 cups. If you don't have beef broth, that is okay. Use what you have. You could use chicken broth. It wouldn't make that big a change. Or you could just even use some water. No problem at all. Just a little bit of warm water in there. The beef broth is hard for my mouth to say. The beef broth just gives it a more, you know, rich flavor. But it's still going to be good if you use water. No problem at all. There we go. I've got some garlic here, and I'm just gonna, you could chop up some garlic cloves, but I'm just gonna pour in some of the brine because it just tastes so good. And I hate to waste it, so I use it because it's so garlicky flavored. I'll use it in recipes like this sometimes. If you don't have that, just chop up 2 teaspoons of garlic, say, and put those in there. Just make it nice and tiny mince of garlic. And put those in, put that in. Then we're going to use our Italian seasoning. We're going to do 1.5 teaspoons. If you have the fresh herbs, please feel free to use those. So you could do, if you multiply it by 3, that's how you do the fresh herbs. If it's 1.5 teaspoons, then you could just do 1.5 tablespoons of the fresh herb. So there you go, some basil, some oregano, whatever you have. So there we go, stir that all in there together. You could also, if you wanted to, you could add some beans to this. It would be very easy to put some fiber and a little protein in the recipe with some any kind of beans, red chili beans, some cannellini beans, those white ones that are nice and firm. Those would be great in there, or even black beans. Just rinse them and drain them before you use a can. If you're using a canned one that's already cooked, then just do that first. So there we go. It already looks delicious to me, but I want to show you a really nice shortcut. You don't have to do this, but if you want to, you can. So at this point, pardon me, at this point you can put in a cup of dry pasta, short pasta like rotini or penne or whatever you have, little shells, whatever the kids love, and just add that to this brothy mixture, 1 cup of dry, and then stir it in, and then you're just going to bring this to a boil, and you're going to let it simmer until the pasta is done. However, if you don't want to cook the pasta in there and wait for it, then you could always grab a ready pasta and just use cooked pasta. It's already ready to go, and I thought I would show you all that in case you haven't done that before. I have 1.5 pouches here because I used 1.5 in the one that I already made. So there we go. And that equals out about, if you use 1 cup of dry pasta, it comes out around 2 or a little over 2 cups of cooked pasta. It turns into that as it gets wet and cooked. So when it's dry, it of course shrinks. So there we are. So you can see, now you can use any kind of pasta here. You could use some whole wheat pasta if your family likes that. You could use some, they have protein pasta. I know Anissa Centers tells me a lot that she has started using protein pasta, and she said that's really good. And so I want to find that in my grocery store. I haven't done it yet, and just give that a try to see what the difference would be there. So that would be, I think, pretty delicious. So there we go. So that's really all there is to making that recipe now. This just has to get hot and cooked through. So the zucchini, of course, you want it to be pretty tender, so let it cook a little while, even with that already cooked pasta in it. I'm going to take the one I've already made. I'm going to trade places here with that. Whoop, I need to scoop those off that burner. Silly me. Okay. There we go. Y'all know I am so ADHD sometimes. There we go. Okay, now we have it all ready in this pan here. Look how that turns out. You can see how the zucchini cooks down so nicely. It's tender, it's almost translucent, whereas when it was fresh and raw, it was really white and pale green, really. But this has cooked plenty, and it's just been sitting here waiting for me to stir it up again. And it smells incredible. I'm going to take out one piece of the pasta and just see if there's enough salt there. I think I need a little bit more salt, so I'm going to go in with about, you know, this pink salt. This is what I'm using here, is this pink Himalayan sea salt. It's not quite as strong to me, saltiness wise, as just plain, you know, table salt. So sometimes you do have to add a little bit more of the pink. Have you ever noticed that? You guys at home, I like using it because it is such a nice flavor. You just have to compensate a little bit by adding more than you might have of the plain white, good old salt that we all have in our cabinet. There we go. So let me show you how I would serve this up. I'm going to just get some in this pretty little bowl, like that. If you have a hearty appetite, which, you know, a lot of our young people have as they're still growing and they're working so hard at school and at practices and that sort of thing, then we're going to put some parm right on top. And there you go. It's just such an easy little skillet supper to make. And you see the longest part of it was cooking the zucchini, and basically you just let the burner do the work over a low to medium heat, and then come by and stir it every once in a while. Keep everything moving so you don't scorch. You don't want to scorch it. Don't put this on a high heat. Just a nice gentle simmer is fine as it cooks together and blends together. Such a good little recipe. And we have finished earlier than usual because I got you guys lined up with 3 of the easiest recipes that I could think of for back to school, and I didn't even realize how easy and fast they were, because normally I'm another 10 minutes chatting your ear off while I am cooking. So that shows you how easy these recipes really are. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed making them for you. And of course, like I said a few moments ago, these 3 recipes plus many, many more are on the East Texas Kitchen app. So if you haven't downloaded that free app yet, just go to your phone or device's app store and search for KLTV, and every one of our apps comes up. East Texas Kitchen, The Red Zone, Pet Project. We have so many apps, and we give them all away free. So make sure you download those. And Hannah, I'm going to come feed you, young lady, so I hope you are ready to try all of these. And if you guys at home want to stick around and watch Hannah give her thumbs up or thumbs down on these, then don't go anywhere. Stick around. And if you do need to leave, listen, you are doing a great job. Take care of your family. Take care of yourself. I have faith in you, and I hope these recipes help you out. Back to you.